Years ago, before big box sporting goods became the norm, there was another type of place. You know the kind I'm talking about. A corner hole in the wall whose regulars, mostly retired guys whose wives had shooed them out of the house, whiled away the hours exchanging hunting and fishing exploits. That's where Steve found himself one snowy winter's night, as much to shoot the breeze as to let the plow get a run on the ice before the long drive home. He and the boys were well in the thick of it when the door blew open. They turned, wondering what in the world could have dragged in a real customer on a night like this, but were taken aback. In place of some crotchety old-timer stood a beautiful young woman, a real looker. Tall and slender, with pale skin and raven hair down to her waist. Unlike some women whose clothes wear them, she wore the dark glasses, tight jeans, leather jacket, and boots easily. Framed against the frozen landscape, she smiled at the men, keenly aware of her allure, and seemed amused when they practically fell over one another at her request for a hunting knife. Now, as you can well imagine, Steve was mesmerized. He was, after all, the youngest of his comrades and one of the only bachelors, and he'd had the thought, maybe I should get to know this vision of loveliness. The others certainly agreed, for they soon nudged him forward and then disappeared into the back room. Alone at last, heart thudding wildly, he approached the young woman, and as knowledgeable as any of the guys behind the counter, he used his sales pitch to quickly move matters along. Things were going great. Only one hitch. Hard getting to know a vision when half her face is hidden beneath dark glasses, but he let it slide. So, is the knife for you or your boyfriend? He asked, hoping for the right answer. She giggled a little. Oh no, it's for me. And I don't have a boyfriend, she added, the steel blade she was trying on for size winking off those damnable glasses. If before Steve's heart thudded, now it was doing a jig. So if I were to ask you to dinner, I wouldn't be stepping on any toes? No, she said, still preoccupied. But that doesn't mean it would be a good idea. Undaunted, he tried again. A cup of coffee and dessert, then. Come on, everyone needs a little sweetness at least once a week, right? At this, she paused, placed the knife on the counter, and took a step forward, bringing her face within inches of his. Beneath her shades, he felt her searching, probing. Trust me, she said, leaning in. You don't want to go out with me. Steve opened his mouth and snapped it shut. The question, why not, caught in his throat as she slowly reached for her frames and pulled them down. He began laughing. Oh, I get it now. The whole dark glasses bit, the attitude. You got me. The contacts really are trippy, but isn't it a little late for Halloween? He chided, while helpless to look away from the glowing amber of her irises, the black vertical slits for pupils, beastly animalistic eyes for sure, and he was about to ask how much she paid for them, when she blinked. The movement wasn't coy. It wasn't the flirtatious batting of long, sultry lashes. Hell, it wasn't even human. It was, however, deliberate, slow, and calculated. An insistence that he should take a good, hard look and engrave this moment in his mind forever. He took a step back, then another, working his way to the others in the stockroom, and as he did so, those beastly animalistic eyes bore into him as if to say, Do you understand? This is important. You need to understand. Oh yeah, he understood all right. The excited chatter in the storeroom no match for the data dump going on in his brain. Things he'd seen over the years on nature shows and public television stations. The eyes of certain mammals and reptiles have a membrane, or translucent third eyelid, that could be drawn horizontally across the eye for moisture and protection. He and I have spoken frequently about that night, theorizing who or what he'd seen, and his story has never changed. Then one Saturday evening, more than 20 years after reality took a plunge off a cliff, we were waiting to be seated at our favorite restaurant, when in walked one of the most beautiful young women I'd ever seen. A real looker, tall and slender, with pale skin and raven hair down to her waist. The dark glasses she had on, though out of place in the dusky twilight, only seemed to accentuate the elegance of her clothes. People stopped, stared, and whispered. Steve shuddered. "That's her," he said breathlessly. "That's the woman from the sports shop so long ago." "But you know what the worst part is?" he said, now clutching my arm. "She hasn't aged a single day."